Hi guys, I'm Tracy. Thank you for joining me today. So in response to my last few videos going over the Beautylish brushes that are now, on sort of a special with their gift card event, I wanted to put one more out there. I noticed that a bunch of the Sonia G brushes are now out of stock, such as the Phase 2 and the Cheek Pro. I believe those are now out of stock, so you can't get those. But there is one brush. I did a couple videos back when it was released, but and I was kind of looking at my collection, trying to figure out what more I can do to help you guys decide which brushes to get this weekend if you're still trying to decide. And I looked at the Smooth Buffer, and I realized I didn't give it a fair shot, and I hadn't even washed it. So there you go. It doesn't really reach its full potential until you wash it. So if you guys want to see my previous video, I'll link it below. That was back in, I believe, September when it first came out. Anyhow, I really haven't used it a whole lot, mainly because I don't use finishing powder for the most part, and it's just not a shape that I'm used to. But now that it's washed, I am going to try it out again with a few products. So I'm going to do my powder bronzer everywhere. I'm going to do a powder blush, and then I am going to set one side with the Hourglass soft light finishing powder, and then the other side I am going to try it with the LYS translucent setting powder. So with that, let's just get started. So for the bronzer, I'm going to be using the LYS medium matte bronzer in Harmony. So, and then between uses, I'm going to use the Hakuhodo towel to clean it. So it should do a fairly good job at getting the product off. So I'm going to just try not to put too much. Now this is a very pigmented bronzer, so it's probably going to look pretty strong. So I already have pretty much all of my makeup on except for powder, bronzer, blush and highlight. So you guys can see really what this brush can do. So that's one side. So I can tell right away that this brush is much softer now that I've washed it, and it has expanded in diameter pretty significantly. And I think it does actually feel nicer on the skin, to be honest, now that it's fluffier. So there you go with the bronzer application, and I'm actually really happy with it. It there's no harsh lines, and it's a very, very smooth application. Doesn't really look like I have bronzer on. It looks very natural, so very happy with that. And then I'm going to go into my, let me use the Hourglass Mood Exposure. So I'm going to go in, let me clean it off first. All right, so going in with Mood Exposure. This is a blush I've had for a long time. I just never really got the hang of it or got used to seeing it on me. So that went on really nice. I'm trying to see if it's lifting my base makeup, and I don't think it is. I have the liquid, I have the Shiseido self-refreshing foundation on today. And my foundation, I put it on much earlier, so it is like definitely dry, so I didn't feel like I had to powder it before going in with these products. So there's the bronzer and the blush. I'm gonna just put a tad bit more blush just so you guys can really see it. So there, and then, you know, just because I have it here, I'm going to put a little bit of highlighter on before I put the finishing powder on. After I clean this, it's all here. I don't know if this is a recommended product, the highlighter, but just so you guys can see how it performs. So it very evenly and very, it's a very subtle application of highlight. You know, because it's a big brush, it's not gonna, you know, be very specific, but I actually think that's a really nice look for highlighter. Maybe I underestimated this brush as far as doing, you know, bronzer and things like that. Okay, now for the finishing powders. All right, so I'm going to use the Hourglass, the soft light. So now I'm noticing, because it's fluffier, it's kind of hard to get into this pan, whereas before it wasn't. So probably moving forward, I'll use my larger pan of setting powder or finishing powder. Okay, so that's the Hourglass powder. Now I'm going to try it with the LYS, the translucent setting powder. So yeah, this perfectly fits in to the pan. It's a little pet peeve of mine when my brush doesn't fit into the pan. I always feel like I'm getting the other products kind of mixed in. And when it comes to setting powder, you definitely don't want those other things getting into your brush. So I'll zoom you guys in. This is the Hourglass side, and this is the LYS side. I could actually tell there's a difference in the finish of my skin, especially right here. So I can see my texture a lot more on this side, and I feel like it's a little smoother on this side, like a tad bit smoother. And I think even here I can see like my fine lines and my pores better than on this side. So that's definitely the finishing powder. So it does make sense because the Hourglass powders are, you know, some of the most expensive powders out there. And although I do love this LYS setting powder, I think I better just use it as setting and not a finishing powder. I was hoping I can use it to do my finishing powder, but I don't really do it a whole lot, and I have other ones that will do the job. So I'm trying to think. So I do think this brush needs to be washed before it reaches its full potential, and it does significantly change after you wash it. It's a lot fluffier. It even looks like darker. I'm not sure what that's about, because it's pretty much all one color. So I'll give you guys a really good look. So when I first got it, it was kind of more like this. You know, it was really kind of packed in there. And then now it's got a lot, it flares out a lot more. So which is good because it covers more space if you're, you know, got a big face like mine. One downside though is that it's not going to be very specific, so it is kind of hard to get in here, I would say. So if you want to like powder your under eyes, this is probably not going to do a good job. But I really like the bronzer and blush and the highlight application. It looks so seamless. Like I can't see where one starts and the other ends. I don't know if you guys can see that. So normally I can see exactly where my bronzer and my blush is. And sometimes I kind of like it like that. But I'm liking this too. It gives you more of a no makeup look, if you know what I mean. So that's revisiting the smooth buffer. It is available still. So I wanted to just give as much information to you guys as I could. All right, so that's really all I was going to go over today. I hope you guys are finding these videos helpful. So far it sounds like they are, and I really appreciate all the views and comments and likes that you guys are sending my way. So thank you very much, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.